Hello, everybody, and welcome to Dot to Dot. Well, today I'm going to do a combination of the last few videos. In my recent videos, I've been talking about the Rochefoucauld Grail and the encrypted geometry that was discovered in that. Truly amazing. I'll do a little bit of review on that. And also, I'm going to show how the ciphered documents, the numbers that came out of the ciphered documents, uh, the La Formula, the Phil Stevenson document, and well, the 90-foot stone is basically just 40 feet. And I'm going to put it together and show you guys what it all means. So let's go first, and we're going to go to Google Earth. And here I've got my chalkboard up, and this here is the combined geometry that comes out of both the Bill Jackson map, or the Zena Halpern map, as you like to call it. And this geometry that comes out of the Zena Halpern map is mostly uh, the finding of this point, the set point, and this 429 extension of Nolan's Cross and L'Hamp. Now, the common lines that come out of the Rochefoucauld map, or the Zena map, and the Rochefoucauld Grail is this line right here. And this was an important line in the Zena Halpern map because it was the one that basically gave us the 1347 peed, which was a distance. And if you remember, it is supposed to end up pointing, when it's extended out, to this point in Frog Island, just like it is right here. So this is also the uh, line that is found in the Rochefoucauld Grail. And if you remember, in the Rochefoucauld Grail, it was a geometry that came off of a uh, line that was denoted by this 154 degrees. This was discovered by Gary and Olivier from Oak Island Research. And I can put up the geometry real quick if you want. It was this right here, and this geometry came out. And I have a video that explains how this all comes about. But this is the point that comes off of that. And the other amazing thing that came out of the Rochefoucauld Grail is this 40-degree line. And this 40-degree line goes to what we call the oak. Another common line that is with the Rochefoucauld Grail and Zena Halpern map is this 45. Now, this is a gaze line on the coming from this gentleman over here, and from this gentleman right here, the knight, and it intersects this line, which is I put it back up here, which is the center line of the Rochefoucauld Grail. When you take the diagonals from both the corner dots, it ends up right here. So that's the line that goes through the Rochefoucauld Grail, and that is the axis of Nolan's cross. So the axis of Nolan's cross and uh, what we call the set line that comes down here are both common in the Rochefoucauld Grail and the Zena Halpern map. Another thing too, and I want to put that back up here, is another thing is the fascinating thing about the Rochefoucauld Grail is it not only uh, denotes these angles, this 20-degree angle numerically through this checkerboard. This is from these feet. We block in these checkers and count them, and this is 20 checkers in here. But it is also denoted by the line. See how it goes through the line in the shoe? This is 20 degrees in reference to the axis of Nolan's cross, which is 60 degrees, a true heading of 60 degrees, and also this 40-degree angle, which is also in reference to the 60 degrees, is taken from the shoe here. And this is a representation of the 40 degrees that goes out to the oak. So it amazes me that all this is actually there and that it is giving us this geometry and that there are so many lines that correspond to the Zena-Halpern map that it's amazing. We have one line here that's common. We have the axis of Nolan's cross that is common. We have also the 45. So the 45-degree angle, if we put the Zena-Halpern map, for the Zena-Halpern map, the 45-degree angle is this north arrow from the quadrant, you see? So this is the Zena-Halpern map, how the 45 and the Rochefoucauld Grail, it's just part of a gaze line. And these two gaze lines, they they identify cone A, which is where the 45-degree angle starts from there. So what does this all mean? Okay. Well, let me get out of this and let me go to, we did the decipherment of La Formula, and we have some common elements between La Formula and the Phil Stevenson document. But most of all, we have these numbers and these instructions. And the first one is dig at 40 feet. So in other words, you are at 40 feet below the surface, and it says to dig at 40 feet with an angle of 45 degrees. Now we know where the 45 degrees is. It's coming off of cone A. And then you're going to go to La Hamp, which is basically the center of the quadrant on Zena-Halpern's map. And the La Hamp is 522 feet to you. So in other words, if you are at the hole, you're in the hole at 40 feet, you're going to go at a 45-degree angle for 522. It's actually peed in French peed. That's what it is. That equates to 560 feet in American feet. And then once you reach La Hamp, you're going to enter a corridor and you're going to go another 1,065 feet to the vault or the chamber. In the Phil Stevenson document, you have just numbers. We have 45, we have 522, and we have 1,065, and we have the instructions here, dig 40 feet. So this is from the surface. So we're going to dig 40 feet from the surface. Now we also have a number 145, which I don't know what that means. I know where it might be put in, but this is in PED, and I don't know if it equates to the 145 that that we have from the headstone to cone A, but we will see. And then we have the minus 21 degrees, which is just the compass magnetic declination for the time period at Oak Island. So let's take off the chalkboard and clean this up a little bit and show you what's on Oak Island. So let's, here we have the 45, and let's clean this up a little bit. We'll take off the resultant vectors from the Rochefoucauld Grail, and we'll take off the position there, and we'll take the part of the scale part out. The other thing that comes out of the Rothschild or the Zener-Hopper map is this east to west line. And notice La Hampe is very much a center of many intersections. So we'll take off the round island, and we'll take this off the gaze vectors. So what we're left with is basically the positioning of Nolan's cross, okay, and this 45-degree angle, which goes to La Hampe, which is mentioned in La Formula. And if you go from La Hampe 560 feet, you're going to end up past here. And I'm going to tell you why. The reason is because this entrance, okay, is actually located through the stone triangle. And the stone triangle basically gives us a intersection point from the true north position here. And this true north position is the position where the oak will be measured from here to there. And the oak is actually in the center of this circle. And this circle here basically gives us the distance to the 522 entrance. Now, the 522 entrance it's basically here, and it is 560 feet to La Hampe. But if you dig down 40 feet and you find the entrance, you're going to go 560 feet to La Hampe, but you're going to be going down an incline. Now, we're estimating this to be about 7.7 degrees, which is basically a moderate angle or slope. But the depth is going to be, and this is just speculation, that it's going to be about 115 feet from the ground level. So the distance that is on the ground to the 522 entrance is 555 feet. So it's a little bit shorter than the 560 feet. Now, this point right here comes from the 1937 survey, and this one comes from a due east from the south anchor. But this is where you enter into the tunnel on Oak Island. According to what we've put together through the Rochefoucauld Grail and also through the overlaying of the stone piles. Now, if you remember, the stone piles are something that was put together by Fred Noland. It's through his survey, and I've overlaid his survey. And these are the lines that you get from Fred Noland's survey. And one of these lines goes directly to the 522 entrance right here. The other lines go to the south anchor. Oh, I'm sorry. The north anchor is up here. This position is the north anchor. And then this due west line, this is due magnetic west according to the declination, because the stone piles have a built-in minus 21 degrees declination into this when you cross the cone A, which is this east-west line, and the north-south line that comes from this stone here, and the east line comes from this stone here. When it intersects, this is a 21 degrees right here. But this would be magnetic west to cone D, And then, of course, the Nolan stone piles also go to the set point and also to the Frog Island uh, point there. These are not to be surveyed. They were done probably on a map and then laid out in this way. They're all connected one to another, and this was a way of them positioning the geometry on the island, that it would have some accuracy in their plan. So this was the stone piles, Nolan stone piles. And then the other was the 1937 survey stones that were done by uh, Gilbert Hedden, and those came out. And this is with the 7-degree angle. It's actually about 6.5-degree angle with the mathematics done by the stone triangle, and the rock stations that are up here, and we sight into this point right here, which gives us the dig point. This is where I would say you would dig 40 feet. And the distance to the entrance is, I think it's approximately 8 feet. So if your hole diameter was, say, like 7 feet in diameter, you would only have about 3 or 4 feet to get through the entrance. So this is where the oak entrance, or the 522 entrance we call, that is called out in the formula. This is where you dig 40 feet, then you will dig at a 45-degree angle for a few feet, and then you will enter this tunnel. And this tunnel is, if you remember the La Formula, let me put it up here. It's the Antiara schematic. And if I put that up, let's see, vault theory overlays. Here it is. The Antiara schematic was this, if you guys remember. So this you would dig 40 feet here, and then you would enter this tunnel here and then go 522 feet to La Hampe, which is right here. And then you would go another 1,065 feet and enter the vault. So that's what is going on there. So let's see. So clean this up a little bit and get the 1937 survey. Let's take that out and take that out. So we have entered the 522 entrance there, and then we'll go to the vault. And so we will go 522 feet to La Hampe. We will shut down the valve, which shuts down the water going into the flood tunnel system. And then we will go another 1,065 feet, or peed, which is actually 1,141 feet, to the vault entrance. Now, this is a little bit shy of what is on Zena Halpern's map, the vault, because this is the location of where the vault is on Zena Halpern's map. But this is perhaps maybe a virtual location, like we think that maybe the valve and the hole under the trapdoor may be. But this is basically the entrance to where you would enter the vault according to La Formula. Now, is this a straight line? We don't know for sure. There's a couple of indicators that tell us that it is a straight line, basically because the vault on Zena Halpern's map is right here, but that's a virtual point, possibly. So we don't know for sure if if this is a straight line. Is this a winding spiral thing? Is the eye of the swamp part of it? A lot of people want to believe that the eye of the swamp is something to do with it, and it may have something to do with it. I don't know. But as far as the Xena Halper map goes and staying true to that, the vault entrance would be right here. So, and this also falls in the theory that the vault entrance is in line with the axis of Nolan's cross, just like the vault is in axis with Nolan's cross. So that's how you get to the vault. The other portion of this is that you have to lower the vault. So when you look at the, did I take that off? When you look at the Ontiara schematic, okay, if you look at the Ontiara schematic, there's a whole other portion, okay, once you get down here, but this vault has to be lowered. And the only way you can lower this vault is if you shut down the valve here, okay, to stop the water from going in. And then you go over here to the hole under the trap door. You remove the segment, the cap that is over the hole, and you open this valve. And where this is, there's less information on knowing where this is. I showed him my Rochefoucauld Grail interpretation. There may be an indication of where that is. Also, I've shown in the Xena Halper map that there's also the virtual geometry that goes between the hole under the trapdoor, the valve, triangle 2, and cone E, which creates a parallelogram, which the center of that parallelogram is where you enter to open and activate this system to lower the vault. So that's how you get into the vault, because if the water's still in there, this vault entrance right here is raised up to this position, and it's blocked by the wall here. So that's how this works. So I don't know what else to say. Is that there's a lot of theories, a lot of speculation, but there is a lot of things that are very not. It's hard to say that they're coincidences, and especially between the geometry of the Rochefoucauld Grail and the Xena Halper map or the Bill Jackson map. I find it very, very interesting. I find it it just blew my mind about the Rochefoucauld Grail and how those lines were so precisely given through the geometry and through the encryption clues of the gaze and the hands and the feet. You know, how do you get something done? You get something done by using your hands, your feet, and your eyes. So that's how they encrypted it, by those means of illustration. So thank you very much. Next week, if you like and subscribe to get a hold of me next week, I am going to be perhaps doing. I got a email from Phil Stevenson, who was on the Curse of Oak Island, and he's the one that brought forward the cipher document that I showed, the Phil Stevenson's cipher document. And and in his letter, he says that that even though his relative was Robert D'Anston Stevenson, Robert D'Anston Stevenson also had a big connection with Sir Charles Warren. And Sir Charles Warren was one of the he was a Mason, but he also went to the Temple Mount in the 1800s and was one of the only people to excavate under the Temple Mount. And I have some information about him. I'm going to share that on my next video. I believe I'm going to talk to Phil Stevenson through email and see what he says. Anyway, thank you very much for all your support. Like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you later.